I wrote an article, 5 free agent names to watch for with the Browns. You got number 1 is Nick Chubb, number 2 Dre Greenlaw, linebacker for the Niners, Dante Fowler, edge for the Commanders, Braxton Berrios, wide receiver, and free safety Justin Simmons. We'll get to Chubb in a minute because I know we want to talk about the talk that he might go to the Steelers. Who do you like? I mean, when you look at guys that you think fit that would really make a difference, which of those guys on that list kind of jumps out to you?
Yeah, so I'll start with Greenlaw real quick because the thing that's interesting about Greenlaw is I think a lot of that depends on, what we eventually find out about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. If his future really is in jeopardy, if he's, can't play football anymore, which would be devastating and unfortunate. Guy that the Browns, that's a draft pick that Andrew Berry did hit on, and they just gave him the big extension. They felt like he was a future cornerstone piece of this defense. So it'll be really, really tough news if that's the case. But if he can't, be that for them anymore, I think Greenlaw is a really good option because, I'm trying to think through guys that the Browns, when I did this piece, I was trying to think through guys that come at a more moderate price. Because as much as I say like you can make most things fit with the salary cap, I also understand like the Browns aren't going to be spending like drunken sailors either to address certain needs in free agency. So Greenlaw is interesting because he was coming off the Achilles injury, only played 2 games last year, then was dealing with a calf injury. And so I think he's kind of in line for like a 1 year prove it deal where he's making like 6 million, $7 million, something like that, and gets a chance to kind of go somewhere and see what he can do. But down the rest of this list, like I think Dante Fowler Jr. could sort of fall into that category of maybe you have to pay a little bit more for him on the open market because he has kind of proven to be a pretty solid pass rusher, but he's also, wrong side of 30, getting up there in terms of age, and he sort of fits that billing for me of a guy that the Browns would, they've kind of done this rent a pass rusher program over the years where they bring in somebody to complement Myles Garrett. Now, the future Myles Garrett could change that. Maybe they would give a guy like Fowler, like a little bit of a longer deal to just kind of have somebody solidified on the defensive line for a couple of years. But yeah, I kind of like that one as either a compliment to Myles Garrett or a piece that could sort of start you out if you end up having to revamp this defensive line and go in a different direction because you trade Myles Garrett. He'd be a nice kind of foundational piece there. And then the other guys, I think like they make some sense on a lesser level. Braxton Berrios, I think he's kind of like that gadgety style player that Kevin Stefanski could use in his offense. Bring some speed to the table. Could be a really good slot guy for them. But he's not like he doesn't have like eye popping numbers, so you could get him for a pretty moderate price. And then Justin Simmons, another guy who's like wrong side of 30, but we know addressing that free safety spot has been a problem for Andrew Berry. He hasn't been able to really do that much. So if he could land a guy like Simmons and pay up for him, maybe they finally solidify the back end of their defense and in the 2 safety spots. They finally kind of get those figured out.